Hi. We all want to own an individual, unique, recognisable style of art. We want our work to stand apart, but when we're beginning artists, we don't really know what that looks like. And so we sort of strive to try and find it. And I remember doing this when I first started. I sort of had this idea that if I could pick little bits out of lots of different artists' work and then combine them, get sort of the right ideas, and a combination of these ideas would produce something unique that only I could come up with. And so I'd go into my art books and I'd go into Pinterest and I'd try and find the right combinations that might work together. When I look back now, I was right, but I was also wrong. My style was going to come from a big melting pot of ideas, but it wasn't something that I could manufacture. And everybody's style is a product of all the experiences that we have growing up, the surroundings that we are brought up with, the people that we're brought up with, the books that we read to as children, colours that I grew up with, the places I went to on holidays, the places I travelled to when I got older, my mother's fawn curtains and my father's green suits. All of these things contribute to the sort of person that I am and the preferences that I like. The style that is latent sort of within me. Everybody has this. Everybody has been brought up with experiences, people, places, things they love, things they don't like. It's a byproduct of working with materials that I love, with colours that I love, with the things that interest me, the things that I love, the things that have meaning for me. And so to look for my style is looking for the wrong thing. What I have to look for is things that I love, what I love when I produce my work, the sort of marks that I love, the way I like using materials and tools, and which tools I like to use, and colours and media and all that sort of stuff, and the combinations of all of that. What excites me? What makes me, what lights me up when I'm doing the work? Those things are what are unique for me, and those things are what I need to lean into and do more and more of to create work that's authentic. So the reason that I'm talking about this is that this week I was asked a question by a follower on Instagram called Rita. And I'm very grateful for Rita because I'm always looking for ideas for these little talks. And she gave me a really good idea. She said that she doesn't feel like she has a style. She uses the same marks and she uses the same colours, but she looks at her work and she feels that it looks like it's created by a different hand. It doesn't have a cohesiveness, I guess, is what she's talking about. And yet when she tries to produce work that is her style, or what she believes her style to be, she gets bored. So she does something different, and then she thinks it looks different from everything else. And I visited her Instagram account and I had a look at her work. I didn't see, it didn't look like a lot of jumbled up styles. It looked very cohesive. I couldn't see what she was talking about, really. Whether she's got work that she doesn't show, I don't know, but her work definitely I could see was done with the same hand. And this is a really interesting thing, because so often when you're in the early days, when you're very concerned about sort of developing a style or establishing a style as an artist, and it is something that sort of consumes you because you want to be different. You want to produce work that's different and that's authentic. But you often actually just can't see it. And I think it's because we are so close to it. We're so used to seeing the sort of stuff that we do that we don't see it as being different from other people's work. We don't see it as being unique because we're so used to it. It's almost like, I sort of liken it to aging a little bit, in that as you get older, you age, but you don't see it on a day-to-day because you're so close to it. But when you look back and you look at yourself 10 years ago, well, then it's all very clear. Anyway, this is the same with the style. I think we're too close to it, so it's difficult for us to see. So just as we look back and see that we've aged, it's interesting to look back and see what we have done over the years in terms of being creative. The sorts of things that we did 10 years ago when we painted, or when we, our creative endeavours. What were the things that we liked? You can start to see threads that keep appearing in your work. And when I do this with my work, I see very disparate work. I used to work with a lot more representational subject matter. Yeah, but I can still see threads that run through. I can see that I've always loved line. I can see that I've always loved colour, and quite strong colour. I've always loved texture, and I've always loved pattern. I've always loved detail, and then putting that with sort of abstracted space or forms. So I've liked reality next to abstraction. So this is what I see when I look back over my work. And now when I look at my work, I see those same things in it. I see line. I see elements of detail, areas of detail, next to openness. There's a little bit of detail here, next to openness. Sort of strong colour, pattern, texture. There's texture, quite strong, lots of texture in here. So these things are all still present in my work, even though my work looks very different, and I work very differently now with different media and a completely different process. So you could say that my style was in that early work, even though I couldn't recognise it, and my style is in this work, and it does look quite different. And in fact, now my style just doesn't even concern me. When I start a painting, I'm not thinking I must make this look like my previous paintings or anything like that. All I'm interested in is making things that excite me, that I like, that I love. Leaning more and more into that. If you can identify what it is you love, and then you start funneling in and making it stronger, then your work becomes more authentic, and your style is becomes more clear and more recognisable. So to Rita, if you're getting bored with your style, I would suggest that you look more for what you love in your work, and just concern yourself with that, and think less about working within a sort of style, any type of style. Really try and identify what it is that excites you when you're painting, and then just funnel in and do more and more of that. And lastly, the best piece of advice I can give you is to stop concerning yourself with your style. Don't look for it. You can't see it. You're too close to it. Leave it for other people to see your style. Just concern yourself with creating work that you love. And it doesn't matter if you're not using the same mark making, or if you do use different colours. If you're just concerned with making work that you love, it will come from within you, and it will be a product of everything that has gone into making you, and that will make it authentic, that will make it unique, and the byproduct will be a style. But really just don't concern yourself with making work within a style. The most important thing you can do to make authentic art is to explore and find what lights you up. I have a mark making and painting prompt sheet with over 50 ideas that is free, that you can download, and if you're into exploration and you need ideas, then that will set you off. Different ways to making line, you know, different ways of treating subject matter, all sorts of different ways of using media, tools, creating texture. There's a wealth of information in there. And if you would like that to help you explore and find what you love in your work, then download it and print it off, or have it on your phone, or have it accessible in your studio as you work. And whenever you're stuck for an idea, you can pull something out of there, and that might help you. Okay, so I hope that has straightened out anyone who's concerned about their style, or the fact that they don't have one. We all have a style. It's living within us. We can't see it because we're so close to it. It's like the nose on our face. We're too close to it, we can't see it. But trust that it's there, and just concern yourself with finding what it is that excites you and what you love. And I hope you have a really happy and exciting painting week.